So we received some newsletters from him. Cicero was his name. I think he has 2 other brothers. Let's read those newspapers. Where are they? Somewhere inside my inventory. These 2. The first, Grey Fox Unmasked. Black Horse Courier. Vlanarus Finchal recently admitted to being the notorious thief, the Grey Fox. I don't know that name. Under questioning by the Imperial Watch, he also confessed to being the reincarnation of Tiber Septim, the love child of Lord Stendar, a wereshark and the mother of Hieronymus Lex. Only after he spent a night in the Imperial prisons was it discovered that Vlanarus had recently consumed a near-lethal dose of skooma. There you go. Vlanarus is now back home and recuperating from the hospitality of the Imperial Watch and from the close attention he received during his interrogation. He speculates that he might be able to work again in a month or 2, so long as it doesn't involve walking or lifting anything heavier than a beer mug. The sometimes dock worker has sworn a solemn oath never to trifle with skooma again, and earnestly warns everyone to stay away from the Orem gang. What is the Orem gang? I wonder if we can find this person somewhere in the city. So it was false alarm. What about Grey Fox, man or myth? The Grey Fox holds this town hostage with his famous fame. Is a so-called Thieves Guild masterminding all the thefts in the Imperial City? Captain Hieronymus Lex of the Imperial Watch seems to think so. When asked about the Thieves Guild and its mythical leader, the Grey Fox, the captain was quite emphatic. This one man is responsible for all crime in the city. The energetic and tenacious Captain Lex has therefore devoted himself to apprehending this masked menace. When questions on the subject, Adamus Philida, we met him, Legion Commander and Captain Lex's immediate superior, had the following response. Ridiculous, the Grey Fox is just a fairy tale. There is no such thing as a Thieves Guild, and there never has been. Stories of an unstoppable thief called the Grey Fox have been circulating around the Imperial City for centuries. The stories claim he can turn invisible at will, shrink himself down to the size of a mouse, turn to mist and seep under locked doors, and perform any number of other truly unbelievable feats. If even half of these stories are true, Captain Lex will have his hands full capturing the Grey Fox. End of message. Yeah, let's keep them in my inventory for now. Or else maybe some person will give me the newspapers again. So what time is it? It's 8:44. Shops should start to be opening up. We are about to check out this one, but it's still closed. Okay, then let's start over here. That's Cicero again. This one is closed. Come on. I already have them. Maybe shops open at 9 AM? It's a Monday. The feedback is open, but I think that's an inn. Or is it just some kind of lunch place with healthy vegetables? A hipster bar. There's a newspaper. That's the one I read already. Anything else of interest? This is the proprietor. What? He is not very kind. It's Dunmer? Right? Delos Fendas. Leads to the basement. Can't go there. Okay, let's talk to you, man.
Put on the feed bag. I'm Delos Fandas. We got food and drink, and lots of it.
We can't rent a bed in here. So it's definitely some kind of lunch spot. What do you know about the Imperial City?
Look, it's big. See, really big. Only way to learn it is to walk it. Look at everything. Talk to everyone.
And can you tell me about rumors?
Anyone looking for work should consider the Fighters Guild. I hear they're always looking for recruits.
What do you barter?
A little food and drink will do you some good.
Potions, which consists out of ales and beers, and a lot of ingredients I don't really need. Maybe I can sell you stuff. Not really, so no.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Can we check upstairs or is it locked? Private quarters is locked. Well, maybe I'll come to have dinner at some point. It's more like breakfast time right now, but nobody is here, so sorry for you. Oh, are you? I always keep comparing Hieronymus Lex with Audens.
What is it, citizen?
It's Audens, we already talked to him. Are you open yet? Alright, Red Diamond Jewelry is open for business. Well, hello. She sells jewelry, as you can see. Some books. We will read them shortly. She also sells fancy clothes. Okay, let's talk to... Oh, it's not a she, it's a him. Hemlof Redtooth. Are you a Nord?
Yes?
Nords and orcs have the same voice actor. Do you know of any rumors?
There's some fine light armor at the best defense. Talk to Maro Rufus.
I think I've spoken to him already, but he wasn't in his shop. I met him in the Merchant's Inn.
What can I interest you in?
Well, what do you have? Let me see. Apparel. You sell clothes, which I don't really need. Rings, amulets. Not much of an amulet when it does nothing. Copper necklace, gold. Things are expensive. Trimmed shoes, garment. Jade necklaces. More necklaces. Red velvet. Silver, and that's a good thing. A spectre ring, but look at the price of that thing. Crazy. So no, maybe you can buy me some stuff. Like a bear pelt. And we need to haggle a bit. I'm not sure how this position is very good. What about your flawed rubies?
A fine transaction.
Your sapphire. It's not Wirchmoth much. A gold nugget, you can have
That
it.
seems a fair price.
Another sapphire and a silver nugget. I keep the soul gem because it's useful for when we can capture souls. But that's it really.
Tell your friends about me.
Maybe. I have no any friends.
Be seeing you.
I keep telling that, but Boris is kind of my friend. But I know where he's left. Can I check inside the lectern? Maybe just looking for books. That's the basement we can't enter. Ooh, this looks nice. I wonder if the stuff that's displayed here, if he sells all that. It seems to be like it. If you're a sucker for looking good in Oblivion, then it might be a good idea. Well, I'm still wearing my regular armor. Private quarters is closed. Okay, let's go check out these books. Gods and Worship. Let's read it. Let's go sit down. Take your time and read. An overview of Gods and Worship in Tamriel by Brother Hedgefeld. Editor's note. Brother Hedgefeld is an associate scribe at the Imperial University, Office of Introductory Studies. Haven't been there yet. Gods are commonly judged upon the evidence of their interest in worldly matters. A central belief in the active participation of deities in mundane matters can be challenged by the reference to apparent apathy and indifference on the part of gods during time of plague or famine. From intervention in legendary quests to manifestations in common daily life, no pattern for the gods of Tamriel activities is readily perceived. Concerns of gods in many ways may seem unrelated or at best unconcerned with the daily trials of the mortal realm. The exceptions do exist, however. Many historical records and legend points to the direct intervention of one or more gods at times of great need. Many heroic tales recount blessings of the divinity bestowed upon heroic figures who worked or quested for the good of a deity or the deity's temple. Some of the more powerful artifacts in the known world were originally bestowed upon their owners through such reward. It has also been reported that priests of high ranking in their temples may on occasion call upon their deity for blessings or help in time of need. The exact nature of such contact and the blessings bestowed is given to much speculation, as the temples hold such associations secret and holy. This direct contact gives weight to the belief that the gods are aware of the mortal realm. In many circumstances, however, these same gods will do nothing in the face of suffering and death, seeming to feel no need to interfere. It is thus possible to conclude that we as mortals may not be capable of understanding more than a small fraction of the reasoning and logic such as being used. One defining characteristic of all gods and goddesses is their interest in worship and deeds. Deeds in the form of holy quests are just one of the many things that bring the attention of a deity. Deeds in everyday life, by conforming to the statutes and obligations of individual temples, are commonly supposed to please a deity. Performance of ceremony in a temple may also bring a deity's attention. Ceremonies vary according to the individual deity. The results are not always apparent, but sacrifice and offerings are usually required to have any hope of gaining a deity's attention. While direct intervention in daily temple life has been recorded, the exact nature of the presence of a god in daily mundane life is a subject of controversy. A traditional saying of the Wood Elves is that one man's miracle is another man's accident. While some gods are believed to take an active part in daily life, others are well known for their lack of interest in temporal affairs. It has been theorized that gods do in fact gain strength from such things as worship through praise, sacrifice and deed. It may even be theorized that the number of worshippers a given deity as may reflect on his overall position among the other gods. This is my own conjecture, garnered from the apparent ability of the larger temples to attain blessings and assistance from their god with greater ease than smaller religious institutions. There are reports of the existence of spirits in our world that have the same capacity to use the actions and deeds of mortals to strengthen themselves as do the gods. The understanding of the exact nature of such creatures would allow us to understand with more clarity the connection between a deity and the deity's worshippers. Implication of the existence of such spirits leads to the speculation that these spirits may even be capable of raising themselves to the level of a god or goddess. Motusuo of the Imperial Seminary has suggested that these spirits may be the remains of gods and goddesses who through time lost all or most of their following, reverting to their earliest, most basic form. Practitioners of the old ways say that there are no gods, just greater and lesser spirits. Perhaps it is possible for all three theories to be true. That's actually a good read on religion. Little vague, maybe. Are you checking me out? I'm not stealing things. You look kind of creepy with your weird eyes. What else do you have? Guide to the Imperial City. We already own that. And Beggar Prince. I don't think we've read that one before. So let's keep on reading. We look down upon the beggars of the Empire. These lost souls are the poor and wretched of the land. Every city has its beggars. Most are so poor they have only the clothes on their backs. They eat the scraps the rest of us throw out. We toss them a coin so that we don't have to think too long about their plight. Imagine my surprise when I heard the tale of the beggar prince. I could not imagine what a prince of beggars would be. Here is the tale I heard. It takes place in the First Age, when gods walked like men and Daedra stalked the wilderness with impunity. It is a time before they were all confined to oblivion. There once was a man named Weedle, or maybe it was a woman. The story goes to great lengths to avoid declaring Weedle's gender. Weedle was the 13th child of a king in Valenwood. As such, Weedle was in no position to take the throne or even inherit much property or wealth. Weedle had left the palace to find independent fortune and glory. After many days of endless forest roads and tiny villages, Weedle came upon 3 men surrounding a beggar. The beggar was swaddled in rags from head to toe. No portion of the vagabond's body was visible. The men were intent on slaying the beggar. With a cry of rage and indignation, Weedle charged the men with sword drawn. Being simple townsfolk, armed only with pitchforks and scythes, they immediately fled from the armored figure with the shining sword. "Many thanks for saving me," wheezed the beggar from beneath the heap of foul rags. Weedle could barely stand the stench. "What is your name, wretch?" Weedle asked. "I am Namira. Unlike the townsfolk, Weedle was well learned. That name meant nothing to them, but to Weedle it was an opportunity. "You are the Daedric Lord," Weedle exclaimed. "Why did you allow these men to harass you? You could have slain them all with a whisper." "I am pleased you recognize me," Namira rasped. "I am frequently reviled by townsfolk. It pleases me to be recognized for my attribute, if not for my name." Weedle knew that Namira was the Daedric Lord of all things gross and repulsive. Diseases such as leprosy and gangrene were her domain. Where others might have been danger, Weedle saw opportunity. "Oh great, Namira, let me apprentice myself to you. I ask only that you grant me powers to make my fortune and forge a name for myself that will live through the ages. Nay, I make my way alone in the world. I have no need for an apprentice." Namira shambled off down the road. Weedle would not be put off. With a bound, Weedle was at Namira's heel, pressing the case for an apprenticeship. For 33 days and night, Weedle kept up the debate. Namira said nothing, but Weedle's voice was ceaseless. Finally, on the 33rd day, Weedle was too hoarse to talk. Namira looked back on the suddenly silent figure. Weedle knelt in the mud at her feet, open hands raised in supplication. "It would seem you have completed your apprenticeship to me after all," Namira declared. "I shall grant your request." Weedle was overjoyed. "I grant you the power of disease. You may choose to be afflicted with any disease you choose, changing them at will, so long as it has visible symptoms. However, you must always bear at least one." Wow. Who would want that? "I grant you the power of pity. You may evoke pity in anyone that sees you. Finally, I grant you the power of disregard. You may cause others to disregard your presence." Weedle was aghast. These were not boons from which a fortune could be made. They were curses, each awful in its own right, but together they were unthinkable. "How am I to make my fortune and forge a name for myself with these terrible gifts? As you begged at my feet for 33 days and 33 nights, so shall you now beg for your fortune in the cities of men. Your name will become legendary among the beggars of Tamriel. The story of Weedle, the prince of beggars, shall be handed down throughout the generations." It was as Namira predicted. Weedle was an irresistible beggar. None could see the wretch without desperately wanting to toss a coin at the huddled form. However, Weedle also discovered that the power of disregard gave great access to the secrets of the realms. People unknowingly said important things where Weedle could hear them. Weedle grew to know the comings and goings of every citizen in the city. To this day, it is said that if you really want to know something, go ask the beggars. They have eyes and ears throughout the cities. They know all the little secrets of the daily lives of its citizens. We actually used a beggar already to do this. That started the Thieves Guild quest. What was his name again? Her name? Don't remember anymore. Simplicia the Slow, that's what it was. Well, thank you for letting me read your books. For now, I'm out. What time is it? 10 AM already. I wasted so much time. Well, I have plenty. That's a good thing about the Elder Scrolls games. You can do it as slow as possible if you like. Alright, let's keep on going this way now. That's Simplicia, the warehouse.
Good morning.
Good morning, Galafor. You're in Wood Elf?
I'm Galafor, the watchman. I keep an eye on things.
An eye on things? On what? The Imperial City?
Crime in the city? Well, you hear a lot of complaining, but it's really not so bad. The Thieves Guild is smart. They don't want any trouble with the watch.
Do you know of any rumors?
The Fighters Guild is recruiting again. Not a bad way to make some money, if you've got the stones for it.
Well, I haven't met them yet, but I will.
You too.
You're just protecting this place? It's all stealing. Just pots and stuff. What's inside the lectern? Crap. There's a crate with nothing. This is just all useless. Ooh, there's also a chest though. With the useless things, of course. That leads to the basement. Every basement is locked.
What?
You could be a little more kind, you know. And the warehouse top floor is locked as well. Alright, on to the next building.